Bitcoin reached a new all-time high last week, and also Ethereum is looking extremely bullish. In today's video, I'm going to share my next trading idea on both Bitcoin but also on Ethereum. Bitcoin was flagging this massive signal over here, where the data of the last 4 years was showcasing that 97.2% of the weekly candles had a bigger wick compared to the current wick we saw yesterday towards the downside. We can now also see that indeed Bitcoin afterwards went and took out that wick to the downside right over here. Now, right now, the price of Bitcoin is flagging another massive signal, but in this case, it's in favor of the bulls. Because what we can see is that 97.6% of the daily candles of the last year have a bigger wick to the upside compared to the current wick towards the upside. Meaning that if we mark out the current daily high, which was formed right over here on the price of Bitcoin, we know that this daily high has a high probability to get taken out. Now what we can also see at the exact same time is that Bitcoin over here was slow grinding towards the upside over here on the weekend. Now we know that this as always was engineering massive weekend liquidity to the downside right over here beneath this low and also right over here beneath these equal lows. Now we can see that Bitcoin saw an aggressive move towards the downside yesterday, taking out all of the weekend liquidity. And now guys, that is exactly what we want to be seeing. Right now, Bitcoin swept into a very important liquidity pool over here. What I want to see is for Bitcoin to form a bottoming structure over here before we are going to send it back towards new all-time highs. Now we can form the bottoming structure in several different ways. We can see that we have formed a local low over here. Now, preferably, I would like to sweep that local low today. If we go and take out that local low, followed by an aggressive bullish reversal towards the upside, and at the exact same time we are going to shift structure back towards the upside, we are looking at a high probability reversal structure. In that case, I think it could be a great idea to look for longs on Bitcoin with your invalidation beneath that local low, targeting brand new all-time highs over here around $123,000. And that is option number one. Option number two could be that Bitcoin is going to consolidate here for a longer period of time within that liquidity pool. So as I said guys, we had liquidity resting beneath the low over here, and we also had liquidity resting beneath the low over here. Now there is a possibility that it's going to take some time for market makers to reaccumulate some buy orders over here before they are going to reverse the price back towards the upside. So I'm not saying that this reversal has to happen today, or that this reversal has to happen this week. It could also be the case where this week Bitcoin is just going to range over here after it saw such an aggressive move to the upside last week before we are going to see the next leg towards the upside. So there might be a possibility that we have to practice some patience. Now if Bitcoin is just going to range over here throughout the rest of the week, then I would be looking at some point to long the local sweep of the low over here on Bitcoin, start building a long position right there with our invalidation beneath that low right over here. Because this low, in my opinion, is the invalidation for my bullish thesis on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin takes out the low over here around $110,000, then I think this impulse towards the upside turns out to be a trap. This is the low that I want to defend. Now, why do I want to defend that low on Bitcoin, and why does it make up for a nice invalidation if we open up a brand new swing long position over here to form an invalidation over here, targeting, for example, $130,000 for the price of Bitcoin for a beautiful RR of around 3? Because when we look at the previous price section from the past, what we can see is that if we mark out the previous all-time high that was formed over here during May 2025, and I mark out that level, is that that level was retested over here, a slight pullback was formed. 14 days of access to the very fucking best trading community in the space, Tribe Capital. All that you guys need to do to get trade signals, live streams, educational PDFs, and so much more is to just follow the first link in the description down below, pay only $1, and you get 14 days of access to Tribe Capital. I'll see you guys there. This is where a lot of demand entered the market again that fueled this impulse to the upside. Now, if price is truly bullish, and this is one of my core rules that I've been teaching you guys over the past few years, then we know the price doesn't offer perfect retest to the downside. So this retest of the previous all-time high is a retest that a lot of retail traders are looking for, to play this sort of retest over here towards higher levels, with their invalidation, for example, over here, or maybe with their invalidation over here. Now, do we really think that market makers are going to provide such a clean and nice opportunity to retail before reversing the price back towards the upside? I don't think so, because retail is waiting for a retest like this. So what I want to see is exactly the opposite. I don't want this previous all-time high to get tested. If that happens, then I think the price of Bitcoin is going to fall back into the range over here, back towards the downside, and then we are probably going to retest this range low area over here around $101,000. So what I want to see instead is shallow pullbacks with an aggressive impulse to the downside, exactly what we are seeing currently on the price of Bitcoin. And I want us to form some sort of a bottoming structure over here, and then to long the price back towards the upside, back towards new all-time highs around $123,000. Whoops, you don't want your portfolio to drop like that, so make sure to like and subscribe, and let's keep things steady. In my opinion, we are looking at the most interesting chart in the entire crypto space right now, because on the higher time frame, Ethereum looks almost unbeatable in my opinion, because what we can see is that we had an aggressive impulse to the upside, followed by a slow grind to the upside. That slow grind to the upside was followed by an aggressive impulse to the downside, taking out the liquidity that was being engineered by the slow grind to the upside. Afterwards, we have seen a strong reclaim and a strong impulse to the upside that then broke structure back towards the upside over here as well. Now, everything is aligning for a massive impulse towards the upside on the higher time frame for Ethereum, back towards that range high area around $4,000 right over here for the price of Ethereum. Meaning that all that we want to do is to continue to look for longs. I am already positioned in 2 swing longs, as you guys can see over here on Ethereum. As always, shared in my trading community Tribe Capital. Now, what I want to see in order to add more longs to my current long is something that is currently being developed on the chart for Ethereum. Because what we can see is that Ethereum is forming a higher low over here, guys. While Ethereum is forming this higher low, Bitcoin is forming a lower low, like we could just see. Meaning that the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin are currently forming an SMT divergence. Now, this is a major sign of strength by the bulls on Ethereum. At the exact same time, we are also taking out this local sell-side liquidity that was being engineered by this local impulse to the upside. So many people were bullish yesterday, but also Ethereum was flagging a warning that was showcasing that 99.1% of the weekly candles were forming a bigger wick to the downside. So I told you guys yesterday on Twitter and also in my Discord community, Tribe Capital, to not long this impulse to the upside. And now we have taken out the weekly low right over here. Once again, just like for Bitcoin, also for Ethereum, I'm looking for a bottoming structure while holding this SMT over here. Meaning that yes, we can still take out the current local low over here, but I want to hold this low over here. So I want to hold $2,904. I don't want to take out this low because it would invalidate the SMT divergence. So either I want Ethereum to form a bit of a higher low over here, then reclaim this high over here, and then we can market along the price of Ethereum over here with our invalidation over here, targeting much higher levels, but only if this higher low once again forms an SMT with Bitcoin. Okay, if Bitcoin is also forming a higher low, then this one doesn't count. The other option, the other scenario is for Ethereum to take out this low with a slight sweep, followed by once again a bullish reversal. In that case, I don't want to take out this high. No, I want to take out this high, and that could trigger a long position over here on the price of Ethereum with my invalidation over here. And guys, my target, as I explained at the beginning, is $4,000 for one Ethereum, and that could offer a major RR up on this potential breakout long of approximately 14. Once again, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to smash up the like button, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on Thursday's video. Ciao, ciao!